Hello, Server Nation, and welcome back to Process Server Daily. I'm your host, Mighty Mike, and I want to personally thank you for listening to my show. As a process server, I know how difficult it can be to find the right resource just when you need them. I've developed a solution. ServerNation.us is a website that my sons and I built specifically with you in mind. Find a server, find a court, or simply find the right out-of-state affidavit. Don't forget to enter your contact details so you can be found too. ServerNation.us, the number one resource for legal support professionals. Server Nation, welcome back to ProcessServerDaily.com. Our guest today is none other than the infamous 411 bounty hunter from Texas. She is among the elite in the investigation industry and is indispensable to her clients. She has a particular skill set that she's acquired over a long period of time and uses them to her advantage. Her skip trace techniques, determination, and professionalism have taken her internationally to locate some of the hardest cold cases in the world. Michelle Gomez, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael, for having me. I've been looking forward to this today.
Why don't you take a minute, fill in the blanks for my intro, and tell us a little bit about your personal life.
Well, I just found out I'm going to be a grandmother of twin boys for my daughter, and she'll be having them in December.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
It's a shock, but I'm happy. We're all happy, you know. It is what it is, and you just got to embrace it. Other than that, I've just bought myself a blue pit today, and it's going to be a new member of the family as well.
That is so cool. My parents used to raise pit bulls when I was a kid.
Yep, I love them dogs.
Michelle, you have a special skill set that could take you many places in life. How did you get started in this industry?
Well, back in 2000, I was working at a personal injury law firm and in Dallas, Texas. And I was approached by a repo man, and he is still one of my best friends, and he introduced me to the skip trace world in the repossession industry. And when he approached me with that, he goes, "Hey, this guy's looking for a skip tracer." And I look at him and I'm like, "That sounds illegal. What is that?" And he's like, "Just come with me, you know." So I go with him to this investigation office, and I look at the whole scenario, and it's this place where there's a bunch of cars outside. It looks kind of thuggish and ruggish, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to be leaving my office, my legal office, for this place, you know, because it was not the ordinary office that you would go to. You know, it was kind of inconspicuous. So I go in, and I'm going in with an open mind, and I see this office, and it's totally different inside. Computers, investigation stuff, you know, PI stuff, and it was just kind of cool. And I get introduced to the owner. Long story short, they teach me, he introduces me himself, and introduces himself as the investigator, and he says, "This is what I need for you to do." So me, with an open mind, I take it, and I run with just the first locate to see my skills on the phone. And he's like, "You know, you're a pro at this. This is what you could do. This is good." You know, he was excited. He goes, "Are you bilingual?" Wow. I'm like, "Yes, I'm bilingual." And 8-9 months later, I'm working inside the office throughout the duration. And I come back home to Austin, and I start my own company, Unlimited Recoveries. During that whole 9 months that I was working there, I was locating people and cars and picking them up left and right. It was my knack. It was something that I was born to do, and I don't regret, you know, keeping that open mind to a new opportunity like that. Even though I was working at a good, you know, location, law firm, making good money, he matched it. And I was very happy, and long story short, you know, I'm here today. I never expected something like this.
Tell me about your worst experience in the field.
When I was in Miami doing locates and repossessions, you know, I got shot at. I didn't get hit by a bullet or anything. It was adrenaline, you know, getting caught in the line of fire.
Wow.
But it was exciting to me. At the same time, it was a learning, wake-up experience, because people, when you're out there locating and you're playing with these people's assets, you know, and this was when I started off in cars, in consumer. And being in Miami, you learn a lot. The personalities, the characters of people, you don't know how they're going to wake up or how's your day going to be, you know. When I was in this situation, I had, set up the call, had done everything I had to do to get the the debtor in good moods, like, hey, we're going to go pick up your car. It was already arranged. Well, they did a flip switch on us, and they shot at us, and thank God we were in an armored tow truck. I thought that I was going to die. I was like, today's the day I'm going to die. And that was the first time experience when you think that you have the debtor in your hand, and it feels like I thought this was going to be an easy layup. They lie, they surprise you, but you always have to go prepared. You never know what's going to happen, and it was devastating because I had other people's lives at the stake. As a skip tracer, I set up everything. I'm their eyes and ears. If I wasn't there, I think he would have been shot by the element of surprise, by not thinking, oh, okay, well, this is an easy layup, I'm going to get the keys and go. It did not turn out that way. As a skip tracer, it's very important that communication, you're the repo guy's eyes and ears, you lay it up straight. There's a lot of transparency. There's a trust has to be there. They trust me, and they trusted me that day, but we got home safe. We got the car, and we got back home, We woke up. It was like you think you're just in Miami Beach and it's all fun and glory, but over there is a different world. And I think that if you're going to get into this business, you better start learning how to work the streets in Miami Beach or Miami, because those people do not play.
Michelle, we've all had experiences that make us question our career choices, but then those moments come when something happens and you're doing what you love. Michelle, tell us about your greatest experience working in the field.
Oh my God, you have 2 hours for us, or 3?
No, the greatest. It's got to be the greatest.
The greatest. Before I got Ryan Mullen, the caterpillars in Peru were the good ones, because that was international, and it was not an easy account. It was a success for me. It was fun. I had to deal with people of other cultures. I became an actress, and I did what I had to do over the phone and make these people believe me. I had to pretend I was pregnant, and I had this lady, I had the wife in my hand, and I was able to get her to tell me everything, where they were, where the husband was going, everything, flights and everything, you work, whatever you name it, I got all the information from that lady, from the wife. And I was able to put 2 and 2 together. I know everything about logistics in the maritime world, With all the information she was giving me, I was putting 2 and 2 together, and I'm like, okay. So they pieced them. It went from one port to the other, from the Matson port to here to there. He was piecing all the tractors, the pieces together from one container to the next. And I'm like, wow. Then when I go to his website and I find that, what his name was, his company name in Peru, I Googled it, and I found a website that corresponded to his name, because it was what the wife told me. And what do you know? I see our assets right on the website as an opener. And I was just, okay, let me get now my contacts in Peru. So I know people everywhere. And I made a call to somebody that was actually going to be there within a few days. And he was there to confirm every bit of asset that I had found, and he was able to deal with the local government, and it was just a matter of days. Over there the process takes different. The government, their legal system is totally different than ours, so it's not like do it now. It's you do it, you have to wait. They have a process and you have to wait. It's kind of get you impatient, but you learn a lot. And like I said, every case is different. Every case you learn. I'm in class every day when I take on a new case.
What are you working on right now that has you the most excited?
I'm locating illegals that have crossed and have killed some of our Americans in either gunfire or traffic accidents or any kind of horrible manslaughter situation. And right now I'm on the hunt for one main guy named Luis Alberto Rodriguez. He killed a man, Joe Story, in North Carolina. 98% on top of him right now as to where he's at. And when I find him, I know I'm going to have to get Interpol involved.
That's great, Michelle. What advice do you have for the struggling server out there?
work well with your tracer or your investigator, whoever's finding you the address. Put your thinking cap on when you're out in the streets. Think outside the box. Go with a fresh mind. Go with will. Will as in you have the will to find anybody, everything, and you're going to serve them. Look at the case thoroughly. Find out their habits. Find out if they've been dodging. If it's an easy service. You can tell a lot about the person. Sometimes you just get an address and you just go to the address and, hey, you've been served, right? Some of these people are already prepared. They're waiting for somebody to come knock on the door to serve them, and they're trying to avoid you. You have to go and think like them sometimes, and you just got to be cold. I don't like to see myself in a cold situation, but sometimes you have to, because you're doing a service for your client. You want to get this job done successfully, 100%, and you want to come out safe, because you don't know what you're facing on the other side of the door.
That's so true, Michelle. You never know what you do in different situations, but as a server, as an investigator, a skip tracer, I think it's incumbent upon you to make sure that you look out for your own safety. We had Mike Kern on. He was talking about don't stand in front of the door. I mean, these are like common things that you learn. That's my mission here on the show, is to be able to teach people that are new, not just the skills of a process server, but that's why I love to have a skip tracer on, an investigator, especially someone of your caliber, to be able to teach the audience that they could do it too. We've all started somewhere.
And if you have to do a small little role play, go test the door. Go test the door with some flyer that you created, and you don't do it, but you go somewhere. You send somebody else in and say, hey, I'm looking for my lost dog or something. Play it out before you see what's going on. If your debtor is there, then you come back in 5 minutes and you come at them with the real paperwork, because they're there. Sometimes they like to dodge you or put a family member in front, say he's not here, he's sick, he's asleep, whatever it is. You're going to get all 5 lies, plus more. You learn behavior on every door you knock on. I think that just be wise, be alert, be careful, be willing to role play and become an actor, an actress. You want to go home at the end of the day.
Some great value bombs here, Michelle. I appreciate you taking the time out. Stay tuned for the rapid fire round. We are going to take a moment out for our sponsors. Server Nation, I know you're already awesome at what you do, but if you're interested in learning more about the tips, tricks, and tactics that you hear about here on the show, visit proservertraining.com. There are video lectures, quizzes, and there's even a course for you, Server Nation. Check it out. Okay, Server Nation, welcome back. Michelle, what case tracking software would you recommend as the best?
Well, Michael, I don't use any trace tracking software. I do everything manual. I'm old school. Every case is printed out. I highlight everything and I put it in its file, and I do keep a copy in the computer, but everything is filed manually. I can go over every case in my head down to the last period.
Wow, so not only are you Texas best investigator, but you can keep all your cases in your head and manually. Actually, I was trained in court filing and legal documents by a woman by the name of Diane Azevedo, and she was very, very meticulous about her process, the way that she did it, and she did everything by paper. So I have a lot of respect for that, the ability to do that. Sometimes I think the apps and software, they make us lazy, am I right?
Yes, they do, and it just keeps you busy, and I got enough cases to keep me busy. So like I said, I have to study my cases one by one. Every one is 100% important, and I know everything is going on with each one of them. What I have to do, my timelines, my deadlines, everything. And these cases are not just any more locates. These are heavy white-collar crime. These are murder cases. These are fugitive. These are drug, weapons, international cases where I have to travel, and it's different. It's not a locate for a car, no locate for just another semi. The juices become thicker.
So, Michelle, most of my audience are servers and investigators, a lot like myself. What kind of tip can you give us to help us find our guy?
I would have to say, start with a fresh, open mind. Be positive. Think positive always, that you are going to find your person, no matter what. put it in your head that you will be successful on this case. For example, finding your subject, finding your asset, doing what it takes to make your client happy and yourself happy. That way you can close it and move on. See yourself finding your subject in a matter of time, like say 3 o'clock, I'm going to find this guy. What is it going to take for me to do it? I believe in the power of law of attraction, and I use that to my advantage.
Almost like the power of positive thinking.
Yeah, if I know that it's going to be a difficult case, I'm like, okay, I'm going to find this guy no matter what, and I'm going to find him by Friday. And I already have it. I can already see myself finding this person, and it happens.
Wow. I'm going to have to start doing that. Maybe it'll increase my my skip tracing results.
It's gotten me here.
Michelle, what is your favorite tool for defense?
For defense on the animal out in the streets, I always have a pack of weenies or something for the dogs and the cats, or any kind of animal that's going to hit me by surprise. I always have something for them, and by that, that way I can keep them from stop barking or attacking me or anything like that. I do have a taser just in case, but I'm very good with animals, and so they take to me really kindly. I know how to deal with them. As long as you have a pack of weenies or some kind of treats or something, I'm ready. I never get off the car without that. I do have a taser, I do have a gun, but I don't like to carry all kinds of stuff. I like to, because every time I go to a different door, or every time I'm trying to get information, I have to play the part, Michael. I'm not going to get off with a pack of weenies in a red dress with flip-flops. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you here at my house with a pack of weenies? Because when I'm prepared and I watch the house, of course I've already done my pre-surveillance. I've already watched the house. I know what they have, who's coming and going, what kind of cars am I expecting. I've done my homework. As far as that go, I go with my personality, and I try to, bring them down to where they're not going to be angry with me. Sometimes, I come to a house where you got two old folks with an attitude, and you just have to bring them down to your nature. Like, hey, how you doing? It sure is hot out here. I'm looking for somebody who's selling a pair of puppies, and I'm trying to rescue them. And that is like totally off guard. And by the time you know it, you have a full conversation with these people, with your debtors, and you're getting all kinds of information just for the sake of that crazy question.
That's crazy, Michelle. I feel like if we were ever to work together, I would have to get myself one of those big old detective hats and get myself a big trench coat. No,
I think it would be fun. I'm fixing to get my license in California, so because I have cases building over there, and we can go together.
That'd be great. I'll even let you sleep on my couch. I got a big comfy one.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
Michelle, what book would you recommend and why?
Well, Michael, I hate to say this, but I don't like to read books. If I need information, and I will go and look for that information for the sake of whatever I'm looking for. But you won't catch me reading any kind of crazy, books about advancing my skills or anything like that. I learn as I go, and I do admire a lot of people that have books out there. I noticed that just recently through another client of mine, I found out that I was on that CIA book for Mr. Jason Hansen, and I didn't even know I was in that book. It's an ex-CIA officer, and I was like, oh my God! And I've read a little bit of it. It's stuff that's, I already know. It's just a survival book, I think. I read a little bit here and there.
What did you say the name of that book was?
5 Secrets That Can Save Your Life. A former CIA officer reveals. Jason Hansen.
Jason Hansen. I'm going to have to get that one myself. So, Michelle, what's the greatest advice you've ever received?
To be humble.
I always joke with my wife and say, I'm humbler than you. So, Michelle, the last question here is a doozy. It has stumped many of my guests. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if you woke up today, had all of the same knowledge and no clients, no friends, a smartphone, a car, and only $100? What would you do in the next week?
I would plan a network party, and I would get them all together at my house, and I would invite them for free drinks, free food, free entertainment, free everything. and I would get everybody in the industry to my home, and we would have a little party, a network party, and they would all reconvene. We get to know each other, pass out business cards. I know it's going to cost more than $100, but you got family, you got people, you got friends that can support you. The food and the drinks and all that's not going to cost anything. But to have a plan of a network party and bring your industry together, it's not only good for you, but good for them. So they can revisit each other and know each other's skills, because every day we build our skills. I think we should always do it once a year.
Michelle, I think that is a great idea. That's a perfect answer. Your net worth is your net work. And if you can build a network around you that is supportive, then you just come up with them. And Michelle, I think more than anything, you've taught us that it's important to look to your fellow server and your fellow skip tracer, investigator, and such to accomplish the goals. Michelle, I don't think I asked you this yet, but did you have a TV show or something you wanted to share about?
Well, my producer, Daniel Ostroff, along with the adjoining company, Lightbox, we have contracts that are on the table. I cannot divulge the networks that are picking me up, but okay. You will see a reality show and 2 other projects on the air soon.
That's really cool. I'm really excited about that. Do you have a name for them yet or no?
No, everything's pilot. Everything's in pilot mode.
That's awesome.
And I'm right now focused on my cases. I'm in the real world, not Hollywood right now. So yeah. I'm very humble about everything that's going on around me, and my most important thing is, being me, working my cases for my clients. Looking forward to the birth of my daughter's, twin boys, and living one day at a time safely.
Well, I've enjoyed our interview, and I feel like my audience is going to really benefit from listening to this episode. I just have one final question for you, and then we can say goodbye. What is the best way to connect with you?
You can connect with me on my Gmail that I've had for 15 years, and it's MissSkipTracer@gmail.com. That's MSSKIPTRACER@gmail.com. 512-650-8732 is my mobile cell, and I will answer you and everybody else. I'm very open to receiving all calls, and I am with White Star Consulting.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Michelle, and you keep doing what makes you awesome. I really am excited about where things are going with this show and with this industry. It's changing so rapidly, and yeah, it's just awesome. So let me know if you ever need anything up here in California.
I look forward to it. I'm very excited for you. I was ecstatic to hear that somebody in the industry is doing something like this.
Well, I'm excited too, Michelle, and I want to personally thank you for being on the show. Server Nation, you don't have to be a guest on my show to know that it provides career-changing content. Help us out by serving this or any other episode on a friend. You can find all of our episodes on the web at www.processserverdaily.com. Until next time, Server Nation, you've been served up some awesomeness by the podcast server.